dancer here in Birmingham, Alabama. So this is going to be my YouTube channel. This is going to be my special place to talk about my journey with dance. I've been wanting to start a channel for quite a while. Never really said anything, was always a little bit afraid to launch out there and put myself on camera. I'm not very talkative, much depend on who I'm around, but you know, neither here nor there. All right. But this channel is going to be basically vlogging and focusing on my journey to dancing on Pointe. I've always wanted to dance on Pointe. It's been my dream since I was about 16 or 17 years old. I've always been a dancer since about 5, but we'll get into that a little bit later. And that's actually what the purpose of this specific video is about. So today I'm just going to give you a little bit of my background, who I am, how I started as a dancer, my journey to where I am now, and the future of this channel, the vision, all of that good stuff. So stay tuned. All right, so we're just going to start from the beginning of my dance journey. So I have been dancing, I would say since about 5 years old. So I started dancing, just kind of doing some of those dances that kind of come out every year or so, like Crank That, all that stuff that kind of comes out every year or so. So just little popular dances like that. So started doing that, and then when I was about 8 years old, we moved to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So I'm originally from Anniston, Alabama. That's where I was born, and we moved around quite a bit. Ended up in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, by the time I was about 3rd grade. So this is back in the day when you used to get outside with your friends, when kids actually used to play outside, y'all. When kids actually used to play outside. Y'all don't see that much no more. But anyway, but we moved to Tuscaloosa. I would go outside with a lot of my friends that I made in the neighborhood after we moved there. But yeah, we would just go outside. We would make up routines, stuff like that. I was like basically the choreographer of our little group. I would come up with choreography and we would make up routines to different songs. Back then, Bow Wow was popping. He had just came out. Everybody was falling all over Bow Wow, B2K, all that good stuff. So we would make up routines and we would show them either to our parents. We would bother our parents to come get together and sit in the living room and watch our little routine. Or we would just do it in the parking lot in front of our parents if they would come outside and stand on the balcony and just dance. That's kind of how it started. So that's really when that spark and that passion for dance started. I would say it really hit then because I had an audience then. So, but yeah, so moving forward, I started doing dance team. So once I got into middle school, I did a dance team. But the story behind that is, so 6th grade, you couldn't do any extracurricular activities until you hit the 7th grade. So it was coming toward the end of the 6th grade year, and we had to do this little project in one of my classes. We had to write a book and kind of publish it or whatever. So just like how you would have with any other book, you have an about the author section on the back of the book or something, or in the very, latter pages of the book. So we had to actually write that out because we were the author of our book. So in that part of the about the author section about myself, I slid it in there that I wanted to try out for dance line. And so I wrote all of it out and I was like, I'm going to show my mom and I'm going to slide this in here real quick and see what she says. I'm going to let her read the whole book first and then let her get to the about the author section and then see what she says. So I handed her the book. She read the whole book and everything. Got to the about the author section. I'm like on pins and needles, like, what's she gonna say? What's she gonna say? So she read it and she was like, okay, so you want to try it for dance line. So yeah, so it kind of went from there. And another part of my journey is my parents did the very best they could. They raised us very well. Tried to, do everything they could to allow us to be in whatever extracurricular activity we wanted to do. One of my sisters, she did volleyball and basketball. My other sister, she did gymnastics and cheer, and she also did dance as well, and that I'll get to that a little bit later in this story. But she's kind of a little bit of my inspiration for dance as well once she started dancing, because I always used to follow her around and be her little shadow when she would do gymnastic stuff and cheer stuff and dance stuff as well. So we'll get to that later. But yeah, so that's another thing. So never really could afford to be put into dance classes, get the proper technique, all of that good stuff to actually go on Pointe. and just to learn other technique and other dance styles as well. So I kind of learned along the way, and we'll kind of get through some of that in my story as well. So finally, you know, let her read that story, or read about the author section about how I went to try out for Dance Line. She read it. She was like, okay, let's talk to your dad, all that good stuff, and get the money together. Tried out, made the dance team. So backing up just a little bit, I want to talk more about the passion behind dance for me. And I also kind of want to throw in a little bit about my beliefs and things like that too, because I'm a firm believer in God. I believe that if you put your faith in God, combined with your action and obedience and things like that, anything is possible. So just going back to that, I remember it was one part of the tryout that my sister, this is the one that did cheer and gymnastics and dance and all that stuff, she came to pick me up from one of the days of tryout. And so it was like a week-long thing. We had to, first of all, learn some technique, fan kicks, splits, toe touches, all that good stuff. And of course, learn a choreographed piece to audition with. But it was about the second or third day, so we made it to about halfway through the routine by the second or third day. And my sister came to pick me up, and I never forget this. She was standing in the doorway, looking through the little glass in the door. And you know, if you've been on a dance team, there's always that one person, or even at a tryout, audition, whatever, there's always that one person. I've been this person before, so I'm not knocking anybody, but that one person that can't quite remember the routine, and they kind of look left and right all over the room trying to catch up with the routine because they can't remember a certain part. And this is not to pat myself on the back or anything like that, but I knew the routine. And this particular girl, she kept turning to look at me to basically try to remember the routine. But it, you know, once you turn and look, that throws you off even worse. You know, it's better to just kind of keep moving and things like that, and then catch up to the next part that you know, when it comes to dance, in my opinion. But anyway, that's what happened. And so on the ride home, she was like, girl, that girl beside you, she was like struggling to keep up, and she kept looking at you. And she was like, basically my eyes zeroed in on you because you never stopped. And it was just something about that. I don't know. And because I looked up to my sister, just hearing that from her, how she could see what was in me, the passion really, really triggered from there as well. And ever since then, like, there's always been a nagging, tugging kind of sensation when it comes to dance. And I talked about my beliefs because I feel like that's God, that's the Holy Spirit. Like, when you have that thing in your life that you had, like maybe when you were a child, maybe drawing or acting or whatever it is, basketball, and you can't like get rid of that feeling, and it kind of nugs and tugs at you like all of your life, and you are like, man, why did I put this down? I feel like that is basically the Holy Spirit giving us insight from God to show us what our purpose is, and give us basically the vision, and show you, this is a part of my will for your life. I gave you the desire for a reason. So that's really where it started as far as the passion goes, and just the middle school part of my journey with dance. So made the dance team. I ended up actually being captain that year, a 7th grade captain. Anyway, but I had a lot of fun that year. I danced all through middle school from 7th to 8th grade. We didn't do captains that next year. Something weird went on. We never just picked a captain that year. But yeah, so I'm going to stop the story right here. I'm going to break this up into a second part, possibly a third part, just so the video doesn't get too long. But I'm going to pick back up with where I started my journey with dance in high school. So we'll pick up there next time. But thank you for watching so far, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.
It's STG.